Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested the recently sacked managing directors and some top officials of the Port Harcourt Refining Company, Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company, and Kaduna Refining and Petrochemical Company. The officials were arrested over alleged mismanagement of funds earmarked for the rehabilitation of the facilities. The total amount under investigation is $2,956,872,622.36. Finding shows that EFCC is probing the sum of $1,559,239,884.36. Allocated to the Port Harcourt Refinery was $740,639,600. Release for the Kaduna Refinery was $656,933,938 was approved for the Warri Refinery. The ex-managing director of Port Harcourt Refinery Company Limited is Mr. Ibrahim Onoja, while Efifia Chu served as the ex-managing director of the Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited. This came as impeccable top management sources at the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited revealed that 80 billion naira was found in the account of one of the sacked MDs. Before this issue actually came up, the elaboration on the prices, I know you would have been giving me this stare like, what's this girl saying? This actually came after the most of the MDs were sacked from the Nnpcl. You know, I think around Thursday or Wednesday or thereabouts, when the release was made, that most of them were sacked after the chairman of Nnpcl, Melekari, was sacked in April 2nd by the president. Now my question is, why did this information not come before the sack? You know, sometimes we would be like, is it that they have that immunity that they do not get probed while in office? Oftentimes it's when they have been sacked, impeached, or removed from office in either way that we see situations like this. Well, I want to get your thoughts on what you make of this. Considering the three refineries, there were budgets that were allocated for them.
Well, I will begin by saying greed, not to them. That's generally, I just want to talk about greed.
Okay.
Greed is a disease. And I'm not a medical doctor. I'm an economist. I can tell you that greed eats you slowly and you don't know it. That greed is eating you up. And there's something with greed. It increases your appetite and it stretches it. That no matter how you stock in more food inside, right? It's not satisfying you. Like, you continue to stretch your appetite. That's how greed. That's what greed creates. That's what greed does to an individual. When I saw the figures, like a single person had 80 billion sitting down in his account, I was just wondering, do you know what 80 billion, like, what? I'm just, you know, I just can't imagine, like, how a human being, like somebody, will have 80 billion. Even if you say it's small, what on earth? If the salary of the President of the United States of America is a public one, if it's published, people can read. You can go out and find out how much the President of the United States of America is being paid per year. His yearly salary is there. Even the yearly salary of the President of the most powerful economy in the world, with the most powerful military force in the world, he will not receive such amount of money. No, you see that the movement from naira to billions of dollars. And yet, you see out-of-school children everywhere. Do you know what 80 billion? They said the innocent until proven guilty. So
sure,
we don't really know whether, you know, until they're being proven guilty. But just the amount, no, as an economist, I work with figures. So there's something the figures, the numbers, you know, clicking on my head, like 80 billion sitting in someone's account. Like, it's not so much about the money, but yeah, it's so much about the money. Let me not say it's not so much about, like 80 billion can provide many hospitals, modern markets. Our people shouldn't be selling modern research centers, libraries, tech hubs. There's so many young people that are tech savvy. They have no job. All they need, just give them a laptop, a good phone, and they are ready to fly with the tech knowledge and the tech skills they have. And they don't have it. 80 billion is sitting in someone's account. No, I just think, you see, for me, I do tell people that my perspective of life, my perspective is that there is a kind of philosophy I have for my life. No matter how much I acquire or I accumulate, I'm not going to live with anything, right? If we have this kind of thinking and mentality, no matter how much money you have stored in your bank account, you're not going to go leave this world with anything. So we need to be humble. We need to be empathetic. We need to show kindness. We need to be responsible, because, you know, it's just like, it's a psychological, psychiatric problem. That someone will have 80 billion sitting comfortably in his account. And there's no good explanation for that. And people are suffering. And people are going through hardship and hunger and joblessness and all that. So I don't have much to say. I just want to appeal to our conscience that, please, it's not about the man that has 80 billion. Whether it is 80 billion or 80 million or whatever the amount is, let us try to think about others. Let us try to think about other people. Our religions have taught us to be our brother's keeper, to love our neighbor as ourselves. If you think about others, you will not go through this process of having 80 billion sitting comfortably in someone's account.
Okay, let me repeat myself. For 1,559,239,084.36 were allocated to the Port Harcourt Refinery. 740,699,600 were released for the Kaduna Refinery, and then 653,938 were approved for the Warri Refinery. So there were billions, 1 billion for the Port Harcourt Refinery, and then
in dollars.
The 80 billion is actually in naira.
That's what I'm saying.
That was actually approved for the Port Harcourt Refinery, the Warri Refinery, and the Kaduna Refinery. But we've had conversations about most of those refineries working or not working. Are they functioning or not functioning? Are they on hold or not on hold? Are they releasing petrol or not? And I've had this conversation with this guest that said, go to the entrance or the exit of the Port Harcourt Refinery, you see that the road is literally not in a good condition. You know, I asked the question, you know, you've just been reiterating on the 80 billion and the 80 billion
because
and the 80
it's gotten us back to my brain. I can't just imagine it. It's kind of doing something. See, let me just add up something before you continue.
Okay.
I think we need to maybe people were into research. Adam Smith is an economist and a philosopher, so many things you can say about him. I have a copy of his book in my library, An Inquiry into the Causes of Wealth. An inquiry into the cause. So there should be some research on why do people steal. I'm not talking about this case. Now, I'm just looking at it from a general perspective.
Okay.
Right? Now, it's not just about this case. Now, generally, why do people steal to the point that they steal into billions and billions and billions? And, like, do you know what is 1 billion? Like, to spend 1 billion. to hear that someone had in his possession 80 billion was found in the person's account, there should be some research to study, maybe some of these doctors were in psychiatry, in the line of psychiatry, if there's a name for them. There should be some psychiatric analysis to see what really drives people to steal into these billions like this. Like,
okay,
what,
okay.
There should be some study on it.
Let me finish up, please. I'll still let you speak. I'm sorry. this sounds a bit. The way you're just repeating it. It's hilarious. Well, let's not move away from the main side. The thing I just want to get an accurate answer to this. That this issue of the rehabilitation, revitalization of the refinery we've been waiting for it for a while. Even at the time when the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, was invited to come to see how far the process has been, and then he had to talk back to them, and this whole scenario, we will not talk about it here, over the situation of the refineries, the 3 refineries that were mentioned. Why is the probing happening now? At the time when they were in office, before they were sacked, we saw protests of people saying that let's probe Melekari because the funds that were released for the refineries were not being utilized for those purposes. Is it that there was no particular body, no committee, no investigative agency or commission or whatever the name might be that will go through the process or make sure that these funds are being used and not being put aside for any other purpose? Was it that there was no particular body that was undergoing the investigative act up till now?
What I would say is that anytime you hear, I just want to use this basic in crime. Anytime you hear that A, B, C is involved with a theft or something of a very large magnitude, in a very big percentage like this, it's not just a lone person. It's not just one person that's involved. There are different people involved, and accountability can only be made possible when you have people who want the accountability, who demand for accountability. So in a situation where you don't have proper oversight, and even when people are found guilty of breaking the laws and involved in some financial misappropriation and embezzlement, and they are not being prosecuted to serve as a deterrent to others, it creates a state of impunity, and people feel that they can continue to abuse the laws and abuse the system and go scot-free. Why? Because they are already emboldened by the system. And it is not just one person. In a large-scale corruption or in a large-scale, there will be other people behind the scenes who are also benefiting from it. So you don't expect the people behind the scenes to want to call for accountability because they will also be exposed or revealed. I think a note to add to it is that generally we need to do a lot of soul searching in our country, because I tell you, I travel a lot, and one of the things that I've come to see is that when we talk about corruption, I myself, speaking to you, have had opportunities where I have faced serious question of corruption. I've faced the reality of the corruption. Shakespeare wrote a line, to be or not to be part of it or not. It's easy to say, oh, I hate corruption, until you are right there, where you are right inside the kitchen, where the cooking is taking place, where the diversion and everything is taking place. So when there is soul searching, because when you talk about agencies that should be monitoring, check and balance, they are also human beings. The agencies are being manned and run by human beings, not by spirits, not by angels, but by human beings.
So is that the reason why they don't get probed while in office? Because I still ask a question. Is it that they have the immunity? Why are they being probed now?
I really can't say much about that. But what I can say is that if you want a system to be accountable, there are things you can put in place that will produce that accountability you deserve. But in a situation where you are seeing this, disconnects, it means that the system is not really ready for accountability. Yeah.
Okay.